Hi everyone, my name is Martin and welcome to another great edition of MP Astro. Now, over the years, astronomy has been evolved around a lot of high technology with computers, a lot of telescopes and equipment, mounts, cameras. Everything runs through computers, and don't get me wrong, computers have evolved, making astronomy much easier for us to enjoy the night sky and take great pictures. And now we've got the introduction of AI comes into play with these smart telescopes and the smart apps coming in, making it to a point where we don't even need to think. However, I think it takes the fun out of astronomy. I think if we evolve into AI, it makes it not much of a challenge. Don't get me wrong, AI is really good for like complete beginners, someone completely new to the hobby. Absolutely some fantastic technologies out there, which is great. However, it comes to a point where everything that you use, telescope mount, the telescope, the camera, everything has to be plugged in or wired into a computer. Now, don't get me wrong, most of my equipment run off by computer, but there's times where you want to be astro imaging without that jargon. Have you ever come across like certain issues you've had where you've had software issues? You've had connection issues. You even had issues where the software that you're using has to be updated, uploaded into another format, which is quite annoying, especially if you're trying to do some imaging and then next minute the software needs an update. Absolutely an absolute nightmare. You know, you wait for the clear skies to come, and then you get this software update or something else is not working right. And that's a problem with computers of today. We rely too much on these computers, that much, that everything that you buy, any equipment that you buy has to be connected to a computer. And then some of the equipment that I've got as well, some of the old equipment, no longer work because it's not supported by Windows 11, Windows 10. You've got a lot of old electrical equipment that cannot be used because it's quite frustrating. You spend all that hard-earned cash and you've got a lot of old equipment that you can no longer use because of that, the changes in software and operating systems. And it's unacceptable. And you get to a point where it becomes a real mistake that you spend all that money and then a few years down the line the technology's changed, you can't use it because of that. I think all equipment that you buy should be lifetime, to a point where it will break eventually, it will break down, and obviously things will need replacing. But sometimes a lot of this equipment, if it's looked after properly, can last for many, many years of enjoyment. You know, you probably 10 to 20 years enjoyment, you get out a lot of astro images from it. And that's the point. This is the whole point of this video, is that I'm fed up of using a computer. It gets to a point where everything you need to plug it into a computer just to get things running. So in this video, I would just want to share, if you've had enough, completely had enough of computers and you want to do some great astrophotography, using obviously the EQ mount with a motor drive or using the SynScan motor drive. But there's times where I want a system, I want an astro rig where I can literally set it up, get it polar aligned, set the mount, get it lined up, and I want to be astro imaging without no computer. I want a standalone system that will enable me to do so much more. So before we start, please hit the like button. All right. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe onto my channel. Also share this video out, because there may be a few people that are also probably in the same category as me, probably fed up of connecting everything to a computer. So maybe this video might help you guys and girls and everyone. So, and also don't forget to hit the bell, scroll up, click all, and I'll keep you notified for any new videos that I publish out very soon. So to that on, if you want to find out more what I'm going to do about this standalone system, please keep watching and let's do this. So to start our project on our standalone system that I'm looking for is you're going to need a telescope like this. It is a travel scope, right? So the travel scope is designed obviously for kids or obviously beginner astronomy, right? It's actually a 70mm refractor from Celestron. Very lightweight. It does come with some decent optics, all right, for such a toy telescope, I would say. Personally, it's actually a very good telescope for what it is. Now, the biggest problem about the travel scope, the 70mm travel scope, yes, it's lightweight, but the tripod is absolutely useless. Everything, the eyepiece is not bad. You get two different eyepieces, and you do get a reasonable prism diagonal, which is okay, which is not, it's not perfect, and I think that should be uprated to a better mirror diagonal. But the good thing is it comes with a Vixen dovetail bar, and it doesn't even weigh a kilogram. It's so lightweight. It's unbelievable how light it is. But it comes with a decent focuser. Yes, it's a plastic focuser, but the optics are really good. All right, actually does deliver some amazing views of the moon. All right, really good little telescope. And it does come with a T2 thread, so you can connect it to a camera, a DSLR camera. So it really is a nice little toy telescope, I would say. You can pick them up second hand. You can buy them brand new, around about £70. Plenty on eBay. There's loads of second hand. And this is second hand, believe it or not, and I paid probably about £20 or £30, all right? The only drama I have with this telescope is, yes, the tripod is absolutely useless. I wouldn't even bother with that tripod. But as a second scope, this really is quite a joy to use for such a basic telescope. The only other thing I don't like is the dew shield. It's absolutely pathetic. It doesn't actually stop any dew, to be honest with you. And it just fogs up straight away, and that's something that needs to be addressed, is change that dew shield. It's absolutely appalling. So apart from that, there's nice little touches for a beginner telescope for not much money. Apart from that, it is fantastic for what it is. There's not much to this telescope, but I would say pick this up second hand. It does have some nice little features. It even has a lock screw here, so you can lock the focus. All right, it's not a bad little telescope for the money, but it's enough to get a beginner started into astronomy. It won't give you the wow factor on some of the views. You will get some nice views of the moon. All right, you will see some moons and valleys and craters on there. All right, we're not a problem with this telescope, but we're not going to use this telescope for that. We're going to use it for something else. With the plastic prism, it's okay, but it's not ideal. It's more suited for terrestrial viewing. Now, for astronomy purposes, if you really want to boost your views a little bit better, then get yourself a mirror diagonal. Now, this is an Astro Essentials mirror diagonal. Yes, it's an 1.25" format, but it is a lot better than your standard prism, all right, that you get with this scope. This you can pay for £19. It's basically a no frills mirror diagonal, but it's a good one. All right, it's well made. Yes, it's made out of plastic. All right, it does have plastic parts, but it's a lot more robust, and the mirror itself that you see there is a lot better. So you get a lot better. You'll get a lot better light grasp with this mirror diagonal. Yes, it's only £19, but it's a lot better, and it fits in onto this telescope really well. All right, so get yourself one of these. All right, these are much better than that standard prism that you get with it, and it fits perfectly with this telescope. Plus, it saves your neck. All right, especially if you've got the telescope tilted up to zenith. All right, at 90 degrees. All right, you don't want to bend your neck. All right, so basically a mirror diagonal like this will serve a good purpose, without a doubt. So in order to improve on this travel scope, we want to take off the dew shield. It just pops straight out. All right, not a problem. All right, and it shows the objective lens quite clearly. Now, best addition or best upgrade for your travel scope is get yourself some silicone hose pipe. This is 83mm in diameter, and yes, you can buy like half a meter for around about £36. Now, yes, it sounds expensive at first, but believe me, a silicone pipe dew shield is a lot better than the standard plastic thing you got here. Plus, it's more lighter as well. So as you can see here, I mean, I paid £21. This was around about 2 years ago. I had this pipe for about 2 years, and I just happened to just come across how nicely it fits onto this telescope. So this 83 diameter, all right, I just basically cut a piece, all right, and to do that, all I do is put a big Jubilee clip around the pipe, and I use a sharp blade across and use that as a stencil along that Jubilee clip, and it'll cut perfectly all the way around. All right, so you get a nice even cut. So you have to use a sharp knife. So as you Jubilee clip that, you'll cut around it and you'll cut a piece, a nice section like that. And basically this will fit over, and believe me, it fits perfectly. This 83 diameter pushes straight in there nicely. Look at that. That is absolutely amazing. So as you can see there, we've got a deeper, coverage there to prevent dew from settling onto the lens. So again, a much better upgrade, right, than your standard dew shield that you get there. And the good thing is you can create your own dew cap. All right, basically obviously a lens cap. With that lens cap, you can just get one of those poster caps that you can get, those like cardboard rolls. You get a plastic cap, and again this one didn't fit properly as well, so I've just put a bit of electrician's tape to make it a little bit bigger, and all that does is just fits on there like so and covers my objective lens, all right, and will prevent dust from settling in. So there I've got an improvised uprated dew shield, also with a dust cap. So the next addition for my project is I've got this. Now this is a 4000 milliamps per hour battery pack. All right, this basically is just a lithium battery. If we take a closer look, you will see it's just very small and compact. It weighs around about 185 grams, which is not much weight at all. Now it costs around about £16 and 98p since I bought it. That's obviously prices will change after this video, no doubt. But it has a USB, a single USB, which powers a 2 amp by 5 volts. All right, it has an on switch as well, so you can activate it. But the one thing I am curious about, what I'm interested, is this, which has a DC port, and with that DC port, it has a 7.4 volt output, powering at 2 amps, all right, which is plenty of power. Now, very small and compact, and it has a USB cable. That USB cable you'll get with this battery, all right, and with this battery you can charge it up. So it's not a big battery, but it will become apparent later on in this video why I've got this. So again, the links that below for this battery pack. I'm going to show you this. Now this is just a lithium battery. I don't know if you can find any of these type of lithium batteries, alright, but this is a Mopo lithium battery. Alright, this is basically just this is just a 15,000 milliamps. Alright, and the good thing is it has a 9 volt or 12 volt that powers to 2 amps. It can also have 2 USB that powers, which is 2.1 amps per hour. Alright, so one thing I like about the system, it does have a 12 to 9 volt selector, and you basically power off by a DC port here. Alright, and I just connect that on there with an L-shaped connection there. Now the one thing that I'm curious, now if you see a Map-Po, or I think it's a Map-Po battery, you notice that it's got a chamfered edge, like it's not a straight edge, and that's something that's got me thinking. Now if you've got this type of battery, again you can see the shape there, it's sort of tapered, right, on both ends, which is quite unusual. I'm not seeing a lithium battery that has that, and it's got me thinking. Alright, and it's very lightweight for what it is. Alright, it's not too heavy, and it's got plenty of battery charge, so it's got me thinking. So I've got my Astro camera. Alright, you notice that I fitted a remote controller here. Again, this is a Pixel Pro, alright, which is a TW283RX. Alright, again, I can power this camera using a wireless system, alright, and with that it can just power up. I can just power up my camera, operate the camera using this wireless hand controller. Alright, so basically I can take my shots round there, alright, without touching the camera. Now what I've done here that's got me thinking is, what I've done is I've adapted a 4-point, which is like a 3-inch Lost Mandy bracket, and the good thing is I fixed it on there with a UNC bolt here. Alright, and basically with this system here, using the Lost Mandy bracket here, I noticed that this battery fits perfectly. Alright, this was quite amazing, right, how that worked. And basically with this Lost Mandy system, I connect it here, alright, like so. Alright, if I take hold of it properly, you'll get to see how I assemble it. Right, I notice that if I'm trying to use both hands to show you, and I'll just tighten up that battery. So I'm going to fully extend it out, okay, and then with that I then clamp that battery onto the Lost Mandy bracket, and I noticed, look at that, I noticed with that chamfer I clamped using that Lost Mandy clamp system there, and it clamps perfectly onto my camera, which is really good, because now I've now got external battery now that is going to last me a lot better than like if I was going to use the batteries on the DSLR. You get this clip in where you can put 2 batteries and it clips into the camera. Here I've got a lithium power where I can then power up my camera, and the good thing is that lithium battery is away from the electronics, from the camera, which means I can power my camera all night long, and all the heat is not generated from the battery onto the camera. Alright, so basically it's going to give me a lot more battery life, and it will power up my battery. It will power up my camera. And the good thing is I will test it out. Right, I'll press it on there. Right, so the power's there. That's powering 9 volts. Right, and we'll switch on the camera. So to prove to you to prove to you all that it works. Okay, and as you can see there, that battery can power up my DSLR, right? So my modified Canon 600D, which is astro modded, all right, is now powered up quite comfortably with loads of power, all right, from that battery. So again, if you've got this type of battery with this slight chamfered edge, have a look. I mean, I can't find one anywhere that has it, and it fits perfectly on that Lost Mandy. So like to reduce wires. So the whole purpose of this idea is I don't want loads of wires draping down that I need to connect to a power tank or an external battery. And all those wires are going to be dangling down from your setup. And what that does, it will affect your tracking and your guiding on your telescope mount. So what I'm trying to do is with my standalone system, I'm trying to get all those cables and all that. I want less of those cables. I want them all into one assembly. So everything that's all in that assembly, it's all together as one. All right, so I've got all the power I need. Yes, it's going to add weight to your overall rig, but think about it, guys and girls and everyone. You don't want to be having draping wires dangling down from your telescope, from your camera, from your guide scope, you name it. All those wires is just going to affect your tracking on your mount. All right, you want to minimize that amount of cabling. And yes, you can have the best cable management in the world, but I can guarantee you all that sometimes with a slight puff of wind, or if the mount moves a bit and it starts pulling on one of those cables, it's going to affect your tracking. It's going to affect your guiding. And what that does is with any of those cables that will start to affect your performance on your mount, it will affect your images. So that's why there's a lot of systems now that people want to adapt to go and have its own power units. So have your telescopes and all power fully assembled. So the other part I want to show you is this. Now this is second hand, and this is my Celestron NexGuide. Now I've already shown a video or series of videos many years ago of the Synguider. This is basically the same setup with the also the guide scope system. Now this is a standalone guider. It's powered off by, you can power it off by batteries or battery packs, whatever, and it has its own controller, all right, and you can connect it with an SD4, all right. Now I've done many videos based on the Synguider, which I still have. So this is my Synguider, and again, both setups are very similar to each other. All right, so you have a hand controller port, the Autoguider port, you can power off by a USB, and then you can have the DC port as well. All right, basically the same setup. They're both identical. The only difference is that the displays are a little bit different. All right, so one, obviously this will show black dots as stars, but this one will show white dots on a black background. All right, that's how it works. They're a bit different from each other. All right, but both are the same guiding systems. Now you do get the older Synguider or NexGuide. They're the version 1s. Now the version 1s don't have the USB, all right, in there. All right, and also have an older Sony sensors. Now these ones have the better sensors. These have the Aptina sensors, which are a lot more sensitive, and they are CMOS sensors, and both have the USB ports. So you can actually power the USB as well as the DC models. But the older models don't have the PC. They basically don't have that at all. All right, but both guiders that I'm going to use, Now, there are a lot of mixed reviews based upon these standalone guiders. Yes, it's old technology, but don't get me wrong, these are absolutely fantastic auto guiders. All right, the good thing about these systems is that if they're set up properly and you get your stars focused onto your guide scope, onto your telescope, you can get plenty of stars. Okay, it takes a bit of time to set these up and get them sorted out, but believe me, these are really good auto guiders. Now, yes, don't get me wrong, technology has got better. We're now using smaller guide scope systems with better cameras, but the disadvantage of those is that you need a laptop or you need a smartphone to connect to those type of systems. With these are standalone systems. It has its own software. There's no need to connect it to a computer. This is the advantage of these systems. Yes, there's going to be a lot of people saying you can't auto guide with these systems at all. They're absolutely rubbish. Yes, I can agree with you on that sort of sense. But again, with these auto guiding systems, it just depends on your sky conditions. It also depends on what guide scope you're using. Now, I have used these on a 50mm guide scope. I've done many videos based upon that, which is great. And it does work. However, I'm going to be honest with you guys and girls, using a 50mm guide scope, it is touch and go. All right, I'll totally agree with that. Plus, you need to get it focused on a 50mm finder, which is quite difficult to achieve focus. So with this standalone system, I'm using larger aperture. Now, these will work better with larger aperture. So 80mm is usually a really good guide scope system for that. All right, and they do work really well. However, we're going to test these guiders out using the travel scope, all right, and see how it performs. But these are really good value for money. Yes, you can't buy these brand new anymore, so you'll be lucky if you pick one up brand new, but the costs are reasonable. All right, they're not that expensive, and they usually cost around about 150 to about 170 pounds, which is very cheap considering if you buy a modern a guide camera, then you've got the software. All right, you're paying double that. All right, so for a system like this that is standalone and has its own software, these are really good guiders. We will test these out to see how they perform, to show you guys and girls that, and everyone, that old technology is still good. The good thing about these, you can still update them. There are still software updates for them, all right, for Skywatcher and Celestron. They're really good guiders for the money. If you set them up properly, get them focused, because focus is key with these systems to work. All right. Again, I've not had any dramas with these systems. Believe me, it's just that sometimes I do prefer PhD guiding, and I do prefer the better cameras, the newer cameras. They're a lot more sensitive, and don't get me wrong, using those cameras and PhD guiding really are good. Even you can still guide stars even when you've got cloud haze. These tend to glitch out a little bit. It depends on seeing conditions with these. So as long as you've got big enough aperture, you should be okay with getting reasonable amount of stars. And yes, the big problem with these systems is they don't alert you if it loses the star. And if you lost the guiding, there's nothing to indicate other than star lost, which features on the display. And to be honest with you, there should be some audible buzzer or something like that to let you know it's lost its guide star. All right, but these are really good for the money, and you can pick these up second hand. I've seen loads of these where people have been frustrated don't know how to use these systems and they just sell them off. All right, believe me, if you find some of these, grab one, try it out. Please use this video as a guide, all right, because we will be testing these out later on to prove to you all that these are good for the money. All right, if you get them set up properly, you should be getting some good guiding, and we'll get to see that. Now with those parts I've just shown you, you should have your standalone system look like this. All complete, fully assembled, and the good thing is everything on there is completely standalone. So you've got your guide camera, it's all focused together with the diagonal as well that's featured. You'll notice that the battery's there. This is a lightweight battery, so it's not going to add much weight at all. In fact, the whole weight of this probably doesn't even weigh a kilogram. It feels very light, put it that way. And with the battery, I've attached it with some strong adhesive with a backing, so I can always take it apart. This holds the battery quite secure, and I've wrapped around the controller as well, so I kept the controller together as well. I'm using also a 2.1 jack plug. All right, this is the both is like a female 2.1 female jack plug. It fits in the power. Now this is a Celestron updated version, which I can use this to power USB from the battery. Okay, so you can't power the USB onto here, so have a USB connection. However, I want to keep the obviously the 7.4 volts. All right, so using the DC port here, which is just there, you can just make out what it is. Right, there's a DC port there. I want to connect this wire as my main power cable, right, to provide at least the 7 volts that's needed. Now you only need around about 6 or 7 volts to power this thing. You don't need a lot of power, all right, just to power the Synguider, all right, but it's just enough so that you're only drawing that kind of amount. It only draws out so much. It's not ideal for the Synguider or the NexGuide to go up to 12 volts. For some strange reason, the Synguider or Celestron NexGuide don't like the 12 volts at all. So around about 5 volts or 7.4 volts is an ample enough power, all right, to power up the guiding system, all right. So the standalone guider does not like 12 volts. I don't know why that is. I have tested it out and it does glitch out. So it hates that 12 volts. So with this battery system, only putting out 5 volts, around 2 amps of power, which is more than ample for this system. And because it's a small capacity battery, this will power up this guider all night long, probably even for 3 or 4 days. All right, there's enough power there to last you 3 or 4 days, all right, of guiding. All right, that's plenty enough. So what we've done with this jack plug here, I have found like a obviously you've got like at this point here you've got this jack plug adapter. Now with this jack plug adapter here, all right, this fits perfectly on there. So I will provide the link in the description. I forgot what size it is, but it clips into the female. So basically it's like a female and male end. So this male end, well this is the male end and this is the female end. This will connect straight into there. All right, I think this is a 1.5 internal pin. I'm not quite sure, but it fits perfectly into the battery, and as you can see there, it powers up the Synguider. So if we take a closer look at the Synguider over here, all right, you will see the Synguider is powering up just nice and perfectly. All right, so that's powered up nice and exactly what we want now. So So with that white light, all right, this could ruin your night vision. So what I've got here is some red film. All right, you can buy this. All right, I'll provide the link at the description below. At the moment, I'm still waiting for some super glue to arrive. So basically, once that arrives, I will dab a bit of super glue, and all it will do, I'm just gonna put a little bit, just enough to cover those lights. And as you can see there, using that red film turns it straight away into red lighting. All right, so there's a way around it. But the good thing about this power unit, this 4 amps per hour battery, this will power up that Synguider all night long without any glitches. But we'll find that out, how it really does perform. So then, guys and girls and everyone, as you can see, sort of a mediocre night sky, coming up to a few clouds, which might cause some havoc to my setup. Now, as you can see, I'm using the trusty ST102 modified, and like I say, I've got the additional items that I've included. So I've got the 70mm guide scope. I'm going to be using the NexGuide from Celestron, and obviously I'm already sort of roughly focused on the main tube for my DSLR camera, but again I'll be using a Bannersoft mask to get the proper focus. So as you can see, it's quite a lot of weight onto here on the setup, but I really can't wait, to be honest with you, because this is going to be a good project, completely standalone. Everything's all powered by its own battery, so the mount has its own battery. The DSLR has its own lithium battery, as I shown you earlier on, and even the NexGuide from Celestron or Synguider, wherever you've got, the standalone guider is also powered off by its own battery. So this is a very self-sufficient system. No need for a laptop or computer. However, with a 70 or 80mm guide scope, you will find plenty of stars. Top tip, what I've done here is, you can see here, I already focused my Synguider or NexGuider already. And the whole idea is to get this setup focused. So what I've done on a previous night is, with this NexGuide, I focus on a bright star first. So what I did was, I had this guide scope pointed to Vega, for example, a bright star. And with that bright star, I switched it on, and I just moved the focus up and down to get Vega in the screen and get it focused. Top tip, the whole idea is, yes, once you've got a star, you need to adjust that star to the smallest point as possible. So using a bright star, I use the exposure around about 600 milliseconds to get it. Once you get Vega or whatever bright star, focus it and try and get that disk of that star as small as possible. The smaller you can get it, the better the guiding. Once you get to a point and you get it to the smallest you can possibly can, you then lock the focus tube and then make your mark. Once you've got your markings, you should be spot on focused. This is the only reason why the Synguider or NexGuide is very glitchy, and it's not a perfect system. I totally agree.
and it does have all sorts of problems with it. But the whole idea is I want to use a system where I don't want to use any computers. And believe me, don't get me wrong, guys and girls and everyone. Yes, computers make things easy. But sometimes computers can also be an hassle. Particularly if you're getting software issues or anything goes wrong. Here, there's a lot less things to go wrong here. As long as I'm pole aligned with my mount, and I've got I will be using my Wi-Fi. That's the only sort of thing I will be using, is I'll be using the Wi-Fi, but I'll be using it through your phone. But technically, using the Wi-Fi and Skywatch, using the Skywatcher Synguider app is basically a handset anyway. So using your mobile phone is not going to cause massive dramas. So you can use a handset as well, but I still like the Wi-Fi. So yes, the only electronic device I will be using is you controlling the mount, using the Synguider app. That's the only thing that's sort of not entirely standalone. But the whole idea of this setup, because it's standalone, I just want to help. If everyone's got this piece of kit, and if it does work tonight, think about this system. It is so underestimated. It really is a very capable auto-guiding system. Yes, I have seen the Celestron Autoguider package, which is the new one that's coming out. But to be honest with you guys and girls and everyone, that's like almost £800 for this brand new Autoguider. And the thing is with this Autoguider, you're not keeping away from computers. It's not really standalone. You still need to use an app and a mobile device to operate the thing, or operate it through your computer. So this newer Celestron Autoguider that you can get, that's almost like, it's like 749 quid, I think. It's still not eliminated the use of using computers. So then, guys and girls and everyone, we've got a standalone system, and we've got a pole line, a mount, and everything seems to be working alright. So the onboard camera on the DSLR working fine, and we've got our Synguider or NexGuide, which one you've got. We've already located a star, and as you can see, we're going to set up the guiding. So all we do is we've already picked out some stars anyway. So what we do is we press menu. We're going to lock onto a star. So select down to star, enter. So we're locked on the star. Then all we do is then go into lock. So we've locked on the star. We press menu again, and we're just going to go to guide. Press guide. Okay. It says auto cal, so we'll auto cal it. So press enter. And now Synguider or NexGuide will begin its setup. So at the moment it's just adjusting its settings, so it's doing what it can, and hopefully once it's all set up, as you see, it's going through a lot of parameters at the moment. So it's going through its setup. It will take a bit of time. It's still going through its guiding. Yeah, it's still calibrating. But once it starts getting in there, it's going through a lot of series anyway. It's going through a lot of just, you know, the backlash and stuff like that. And there we go. We're guiding. It literally took a minute or so. We're now guiding. So now we're going to start our capture on the Solar Nebula. And I don't know if I'm bang on there, but we're setting our 2 minutes and 2 seconds and see what we get. Alright, so here we go. Obviously it's not right. So at the moment we're taking the shot now. See what we get. Everything is working fine. The onboard battery for the Synguider is working fine. The battery for the DSLR working absolutely fine. The only thing I have dramas with this is because that battery is a bit on the heavy side. It's literally too much for that focuser, so I need to sort out that focuser. The summer it's slipping a lot, so I need to adjust that, make it a bit tighter. So that's something I need to sort out on that setup. But everything else, standalone, everything appears to be working. We're guiding, everything's all sorted out. It literally, you know, it's looking really good actually at the moment. So we'll see what we get. But I'm going through all the rigmarole at the moment. As you see, I'm doing 2 minutes exposure. I am using that focal reducer from Civ Bonnie, alright, for the 102 refractor. So we should get some really good data. Because I've only got 2 hours left of night sky, I haven't got much time to waste. So I need to crack on with this. And come on. It's a bit slow at the moment because obviously I've been having to set up 2 telescopes. But the setup here appears to be running absolutely fine. So let us get us through this bit. Once we get that picture, okay, we have got something. Let me just cancel that shot. We have got something. And if we take a closer look, flick through the picture, let's dim that down so we all can all see. Yeah, we've got it. Not quite in the same picture, but we've definitely got it. The Solar Nebula is there, but yeah, we've got some good tracking as well. It's actually quite impressive. Yeah, we've got something, and the guiding is absolutely fantastic. So with the Synguider, I managed to get the something there. There's definitely a picture there, and yeah, I think we've got the Solar Nebula. I just need to sort out the orientation. Maybe I can get that in better. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. We have got the Solar Nebula there, just not quite in the centre of the frame. Maybe I might need to adjust it. But yeah, everything's guiding, everything's working fine. Yeah. The whole setup is working. It's absolutely perfect. So a few issues with that focuser, slipping a bit because that sheer weight there. That's the only drama, but the Synguider, the NexGuide, everything else, standalone, is working absolutely fine. Absolutely awesome work. So we decided to go to another target because we've got loads of passing cloud. Standalone system working perfectly. As you can see there, we're still guiding on a star, and this is really impressive stuff. Alright, power from that battery supplying the NexGuide, not a problem. Battery on the bottom, still taking the pictures of the deep sky objects. Absolutely amazing. There's nothing going wrong at all with this system. So apart from the focuser, where I'm having a bit of issues, like that's the only problem I've got at the moment. But everything is just going according to plan. So yeah, we're imaging the California Nebula. Okay, it seems like a bit of a too much of an easy target, but we got good guiding. What I don't understand about this system, you know, about the NexGuide or Synguider, as long as you're focused on a star and you've got it focused, everything's set up. All you have to do is lock the star once you've got a focused image, and then you're laughing. You're absolutely laughing, because all you got to do is then lock the star, auto cal, and it'll start guiding. Absolutely flawless system, and I don't know why people struggle using this device. But as long as you get this guide scope, focus on a bright star, and you lock it and you mark the position, you can't go wrong. And now, because it's standalone, I'm not using any other power other than that. So we're going to take a closer look on that shot we just missed out, and have a closer look what we actually got. So yeah, we have got the nebula there. So we just go through and have a look what we've got. So as you can see, if we lower the exposure, wow, I'm absolutely amazed. Look at that. Okay, the nebula is the wrong way around, but look at the stars. Everything is pinpoint. We have got passing cloud, so there's cloud haze. So I'm just going to take some more shots of that, but look at that. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. So we're obviously locked onto that bright star, and the guider is not having any dramas at all. So the guider is working really well, absolutely really well. So as long as you get out focused on that NexGuide or Synguider, you can't go wrong. Everything is just running sweet as, and all I'm doing is just taking the shots. So yeah, I've not got a great picture, but it just proves now we're getting a decent setup there, all standalone. We're not relying on computers. Alright, the only thing I am relying on is my mobile phone app, which is the SynScan app that runs them out. So So hold on guys and girls and everyone. As you can see, I'm going to be super busy tonight. Yeah. Clouds are a little bit clouded up at the moment, but apparently for 2 days over the last period in autumn, obviously beginning of autumn, obviously the last summer, we're going to expect to get some good skies for 2 days. So as you can see, now a slight change of subject from the subject we're trying to review, but I've got the triplet telescope service refractor ready to go to do some bit of narrowband imaging. Hopefully I'm going to do some narrowbanding on the elephant's trunk, maybe, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But we've got the mighty QHY 183 camera ready to go with its filter wheel system. I've got all the filters including the LRGB and narrowband together, and we're all set up for that. So we might do a bit of narrowbanding. So I'm going to be super busy with that. The next busyness is this one, and this is the Rover Valley Optics 60 ED refractor. It's a fantastic little scope. This is really good for wide field parts of the sky. So again, I might image with the Andromeda galaxy maybe, or might try something else. Again, haven't decided, but I need to make a plan. Again, we're using a cool DSLR camera, the Canon 600D. We are using a focal reducer. We are fitting a Optolon broadband filter, so that's good to go with that. Again, we'll be auto guiding as well. I've not decided what settings for the camera, but we're ready for some wide field imaging with this lovely portable setup. I've had to put the pier because I don't want to risk the camera colliding onto the tripod base, so I'll put the pier for time being. Not a big fan of this pier, but I thought we'll give it a go, because again, I don't want to be worrying about the Meridian flip and risk also the camera colliding to the tripod. So it's almost hassle-free, but again, I've got to connect it to the laptop for my autoguider, so using PhD, and obviously I've got my Pegasus Astro DSLR buddy. Really good little setup that'll sort out the heat problems, obviously the dewing up, and also it powers up my camera as well. It's a nice little power box, really good, and we should be good to go on that. So we're ready for that setup. And last and not least, back to our mighty ST102. It's an achromat refractor. Obviously, it's been super tuned, modified. I did tweak up the adjustment screw here. All right, so hopefully it's not slipped the camera. All right, so yes, we're going to keep the battery on there. I might actually source the battery and put it here at some point later on. So maybe I might need to look into that. But we've got the dew shield back on, which I should have fitted it. So again, this achromat is ready to go. One slight difference is I'm still using the focal reducer from Civ Bonnie, but inside there I'm deciding to use an Optolon, an Optolon L Alliance filter, which is a sort of a semi narrowband filter. I've heard a lot of people say, well, you should be using a narrowband filter on an achromat, it doesn't focus well. But we're going to test it out and see how it performs. All right, it's a bit of trial and error. Maybe I'm just wasting my time, but it'd be good to see how this performs in a narrowband, well, see, we're a narrowband filter system. So I've not tried LNNs because I've just bought that filter for 3 years and not used it. This is the ideal opportunity to use it and test it out. Again, filters are a bit of a niche thing. All right, some filters might work out for you, some of us just don't. And again, I'm not convinced. All right, it's this filter, even though it restricts a lot of light pollution, it is a bugger to actually get into focus, all right, with your focus mask. So we're going to try it out, see how it performs. Again, I like to test this out again. We've had some good progress with this setup, this standalone system. Yes, point taken, I'm not completely standalone because I'm still going to use an app, also through my mobile phone as my hand controller. But the problem is though, it is very hard to now find a mount which is just motor driven. All right, I will not be using. A lot of people will be figuring out, well, you'll be just pole line using the QHY CCD. All right, the pole master. I'll not be using that. I'll be using the trusty polar scope. All right, so I'm not bothered about using that. This is purely standalone. So the only batteries is from the camera, obviously the battery for my Autoguider, for my Synguider or NexGuide. All right, very impressive little setup. It's all right. It has its glitches. It does have its faults, but we're going to test it out again, see how that performs, because obviously the other night was absolutely fantastic. We might be using a longer exposure this time. Probably going to try 5 minutes this time, 5 minutes exposure time, and with that 5 minutes exposure time, we're all going to test out this Synguider. All right, it does have its glitches, but again, I like about this system is I've no need to worry about power issues. All the power is there. I'm not connected to a computer like the other two. All right, this is just purely set up using its own battery power. That is it.
So then, guys and girls, the forecast on the weather wasn't that great. Obviously predicted very wrong. It has become clear, but it's very late at night. I had to shut up the observatory, so I was unable to do any narrowband imaging because I didn't have enough time. So it's early hours in the morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the ST102 like always. I'm going to set up the actual Celestron NexGuide. We are picking up some guide stars, right? So from there, like, we're gonna obviously we're trying to image the Veil Nebula. So what we're gonna do is we hit preview anyway, and what we're gonna do is we're going to let me just see that you can see that. Now we've done our alignment and pole alignment using the polar scope, and we're going to hit the menu key, and with that we're going to select, we're going to lock a star, press enter, we're going to press auto, bear with us. Not ideal conditions. There we go. So we select auto. So it's going to grab a star. There's loads of stars to pick. Obviously it's not picking out a star, so we have to up the exposure to 500. Select menu. Menu again. And we've got a lot of noise. We might need to adjust the noise a bit. Low. Let's adjust the noise again.
There we go. That's the thing about this NexGuide. You've got to adjust the noise. So we're going to select lock again. Alright. We'll unlock that. And then we're picking some stars out where we just have to adjust the noise there. So menu, so lock, auto. So it's grabbing a star. So this is the thing, you've got to adjust that noise level so that you don't have too much of a noisy thing. So we picked out some stars. Go into guide. So we're going to auto cal. So it's going to pick out a star. Alright, so it's picked out a star, it's locked on a star somewhere. So once we start auto guiding, we can then begin exposure on the main camera light. Well, according to that, that's meant to be guiding, but I'm not quite convinced. Now, I'm going to be truthful to you guys and girls, this is not 100%, so I'm not convinced that is guiding, but apparently that is. So what we'll do is we'll test it out anyway to prove to you. So we're going to start the exposure and see what we get. So we're beginning the exposure now, 5 minutes exposure time, and yeah, I don't think that's guiding. Alright, so it's either because there's a lot of cloud haze, it's not quite as clear. And this is the main problem about the Synguider and NexGuide. It's very temperamental. You know, if you've got a lot of haze, it might not even pick the star up. And it just shows you that this is where people have problems with their systems. And yeah, it's not 100%, but when it works amazing. It's just that certain aspects of it being quite frustrating to use. So we'll see how we get on. So we're taking the shot. And like you say, I'm doing 5 minutes exposure time because of that length of exposure. Because I'm using a filter that's narrowband, and the main problem about narrowband is that you do need to up the exposure time. Even though I'm using fast ratio, it's one of those things. And you have to really up the exposure time to get a decent sort of capture. Now I'm going to set this camera at ISO 800, but the thing is, it's like these filters. Now a lot of the YouTube videos, there's a lot of reviews that advertise these filters, these narrowband filters, for obviously the OCS or the the OSC, or even the color cameras or DSLR cameras. Anything that's a colored camera, what they don't tend to highlight is that you do lose a lot of the sensitivity of your camera. So even though I'm using a modified camera, I am losing a lot of sensitivity because it has to pass through a Bayer matrix. So that Bayer matrix consists of a red, green and blue channel through your camera sensor. So these so-called filters have to pass through these complex obviously nanometers of light spectrums to get through this, and it only accepts a certain amount of light, so you lose a lot of light
using these type of filters. And what they don't tend to show you is that these filters are absolute pain to focus. So if you focus on a bright star and you want to get your focus pinpoint, they're very hard to distinguish. And even I'm using the enhance filter, which is supposed to be a mild narrowband filter, it really is a pain in the backside to use, right? It really is, to try and focus a bright star. And as I'm looking at that camera now, apparently I'm meant to be guiding, but it seems to be all over the place. So I'm not convinced that is targets on a decent star. So we're already at 4 minutes exposure time. All right, so we seem to be tracking. It seems to be tracking all right. I'm not convinced that I'm in that target as yet, so I can't be certain. So, like always, this is a real genuine astro channel. I'm proving to you guys and girls exactly, right? You need to see the true facts. And as you see, this the NexGuide, I'm not convinced of the guiding. So yes, it does have its disadvantages and all that, but we'll see how we get on. So we're coming to 5 minutes now. Dim down so you can see. So we're taking the shot. Wow, hold on, wait a second. We'll cancel that and we're going to show you. Now, obviously the camera's probably not picked that up, but we're going to take a closer look on that image. Now, as you can see, we have got the veil in this, obviously not quite in the center, but if I just focus that, so as we just focus that, yeah, we are focused. Yeah, I can see, as we see there. Yeah, we are focused on the veil. It's definitely there. We've definitely got the eastern veil. So yeah, the tracking is not that great. So what I'm gonna do is I might adjust that Synguider a little bit better, because the guiding is not that great. We have got some tracking errors. So yes, we have got the veil, but I'm not convinced. I need to sort out my guiding. So 5 minutes exposure time is good, but my Synguider is not that great. So what we're going to do is I'm going to readjust my Synguider a little bit better than that, because I'm just not happy with that. So what I'm going to do is press menu, need to unlock that because that's not good enough. So we might need to up the exposure. Maybe we can get some stars, a decent star this time. I know I'm focused. I'm definitely focused on the Synguider. So press menu again. we'll lock onto a star because it's obviously not, I can't see a star. So it's going to grab a star somewhere. Okay, I've got some star. Can't make out what it is. So we go into menu again. So the good news is we are capturing that data, but the tracking is awful. So we're going to recalibrate the Synguider, or NexGuide, I mean. It's just where it is, right? It's not 100%, but when it does work, it can work out really well. And I can understand why people say you can't guide with this and all that. Yes. But it's just one of those things with these devices. It is old technology and it's not great. But the other night it worked perfectly. It really did. And it just shows what you can achieve with this device. But it's still going through its calibration. Like I said, this is what I mean. I'm using a big enough guide scope, and it does take time. It's just one of those things. I think it's just not picking out because I might have had too much noise. This is the thing about this device, you've got to balance the noise and the camera. And I think I've got too much noise, so I might need to lower the noise level, the noise reduction. It's taking ages, absolutely ages. It's obviously not finding nothing there. So we'll cancel that because that's just not right. So we'll go enter, we'll unlock it. Alright, because we're using a high exposure, we might need to lower the noise a bit. So we'll go to menu. We'll adjust the noise level. So again, the noise might be a bit too much. So I'm not picking out nothing on the screen. Okay, we'll try again. Add the noise. Well, we're taking the shot of the veil. I must agree. Right, I've adjusted the noise to level 31, which is, I think, is probably a bit too high, but I don't know if that's correct. I think that is, because that's definitely picking out some stars. So we're at quite a high level exposure, 1200. So at noise level 31, so what we're going to do is try and guide that again. So we're going to lock onto a star. Right, so we're going to lock. Go to auto again. So this looks promising. We've got a series of stars there. Okay, we've got a series of stars there. So after upping the obviously the noise level a bit, so we're going to menu again and we're going to guide. So press guide, autocal, and see what we get. Alright, so it's going to pick out a star and it's going to grab that star. It's a very faint star. So I don't know if this is going to work. Well, it's definitely doing something. This is the thing about this device. You've got to balance the noise and the exposure. Right, so according to that, we're guiding. Alright, so what I'll do is cancel that exposure. And we'll do that again. So we're starting the exposure again. So the good news is we are getting the veil, the eastern region it is. So it's obviously working. It's just the guiding is not too great. So obviously we've still got a nasty cloud cover around us. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm still not convinced yet. We have got stars dotting about everywhere. I don't know what Synguider is playing at. It says it's guiding, alright? But it's scattering about everywhere. So I don't know if it's tracking on a target or whatever. I mean, the other night was working perfectly, so I don't know what hell's going on here. I really don't, guys and girls and everyone. But this is real astronomy. End of the day, I'm going to prove to you guys and girls, this is not plain sailing. Some nights you get good nights, and some nights you just get awful nights, where things just don't seem to work very well. I have noticed, I've been looking at some of the bright stars around me, and I must admit, it's really bad seeing. Particular Vega, it is literally shimmering away. It's twinkling like crazy. So seeing is not great. So this is probably the reason why this the NexGuide is not playing ball tonight. Even though it says it's guiding, you know, it's just one of those things. You know, we're still taking the shot. And oh crikey, you know what I've just done? Oh dear, I forgot to take the focus mask off. Oh dearie me. Yeah, but I've just realised. Oh, stupid. Oh man, I can't believe I've just done that. And as you can see, yeah. I just can't believe I've just done that. So my image is going to be pretty crap anyway now. After doing a defocus. I've obviously had my focus mask. Oh, what a stupid mistake. Oh, crikey, let us just have a laugh what a picture I've got. Well, hold on, wait a second. This is promising. This is promising. I just need to dim down exposure so that you can see. As you can see there, I obviously did a fatal error. And if we take a closer look, yeah, we've got the veil. Even with the the focus mask on, obviously the Banitov mask. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take that shot again. I mean, that is a stupid mistake I've just done there. Absolutely stupid. It's just how it is. And if we take a close look, so I think we are guiding with the Synguider. It just doesn't give me the confidence that it's actually locked onto the star. It seems to be tracking all over the place, but it's telling me it's guiding, but looking at guiding there, it looks pretty good. So even though I had to cancel the exposure, what I will do is we've got a decent image of the veil there. Right, we have got a decent veil. So what we'll do is, oh wait a second, sort my focus, sort out my brightness. So what we're going to do is we're not going to try 5 minutes, we'll go 3 minutes, because we seem to caught the data, maybe because I think it's a bit too long. Scenes is not too great, so we'll try 3 minutes. So now what we'll do is we'll go back. It's not a bad image for narrowband. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shot again. So I've balanced the noise with the guiding. We are apparently locked onto a star after leaving the focus mask, and we're going to take 3 minutes exposure time. Okay, and right, we're taking the shot this time. So like I say, I'm going to be honest here, the NexGuide does work. It's just that you've got to play around with it, all right? You've just got to build your confidence up. Yes, it's old technology. It seems to be guiding. The screen's not great. It is picking out stars. Don't get me wrong, it is picking out some stars. And we have got bad seeing. And that's a problem with the Synguider. It's terrible on when you got bad clouds or seeing. But for a standalone system, we have got a decent image in narrowband through an achromat refractor, and that is saying something. All right, guys and girls and everyone, look, listen. Everyone thinks that you can't image narrowband through an achromat. You need an expensive telescope. Now, obviously, this is just raw data. I can't prove to the fact that this is going to work. All right, guys and everyone. It's just that I've had people say to me that they're obviously using narrowband, it doesn't focus very well. So it is sort of touch and go. Right, and I don't know what's going on with this focus on this camera. It's going bloody crazy here. But this, I want to make sure that you see what I'm trying to do. The frustration, the lot of painstaking of setting up, you know, getting the ideal sky conditions, getting the equipment to work. All right, this is not plain sailing. And everyone, if any channel suggests, you know, that shows you how easy it is, it's not easy. All right, they're just purely lying to you. I only listen to a real astro channel that highlight the frustrations, that show genuine evidence. And like I say, it's just that real channels that have practiced over this over the years, they know exactly, and everyone that also watched my channel, they know too. All my subscribers and my viewers know what is absolute garbage and what is a real channel. So we're taking a shot. Oh, wow, look at that. Wait a second, we need to cancel that. We need to cancel that exposure, and we need to show you this. So what we're going to show you this narrowband through this crappy achromat, because everyone keeps telling me that you can't image through an achromat refractor. Oh wow, that is impressive, man. And that's in narrowband, guys and girls and everyone. And you try to tell me that an achromat can't work through an achromat, you know, narrowband. That's a nice image. Yes, there's a lot of colour everywhere, but I'm certain that we can sort that out through processing. So then, guys and girls and everyone, we're getting close to a point where we need to do a Meridian flip. Believe it or not, even though the guider doesn't seem to be guiding, it does seem to be holding out quite well. And as we can see, we're still taking the images of the Veil Nebula, and I must admit the standalone system's been pretty good actually. Yeah, it does have its flaws. I still had a bit of problems, but as we can take a closer look, we're almost there to our, yeah, we're almost there now to our 3 minutes exposure time. Wow, and as you can see there, we're still on target, and it's getting clearer as well, which is a vast improvement on the image so far. So yeah, so the image is really much better now. The skies are getting clearer, but we are imaging the Andromeda galaxy through a Horizon 60 ED refractor, and yes, I did have connection problems with PhD guiding with the USB cable. And the other problem I had with PhD guiding is that it was trying to do its calibration, but it couldn't get any movements detected on the northern part, so it couldn't calibrate. So I had to up the exposure on the PhD guiding on the guide camera, just to detect also the motion on the northern part, and it finally worked. So like I say, even connected with a computer and all that, I had a few glitches with this system because it couldn't detect any motion. So now I've got that sorted out finally. We're just at the end part now, taking Andromeda galaxy, and if we can get to bloody focus, we should be right. So what we'll do is taking the shot, and with that taking that shot, I'll cancel that so that you can see. So through the 60 ED,
And as you see, we've got a very bright shot, which doesn't help much. So what I'll do is I'll dim down the exposure and look at that. A very nice shot of Andromeda in 5 minutes exposure. So I've probably blurred out the center core, but I'm not really arsed about it, to be honest with you. But we've got a very nice shot of the Andromeda galaxy, 5 minutes exposure time, and yeah, it's a very nice shot indeed. So if I zoom in, get the full picture. Wow, we've got everything in that shot, including the blue star at the bottom as well. Wow, it's a very nice shot there. So we've got some good data there. So apart from that, we're just going to taking those great shots again through our Orion, through our Rover Valley Optics Horizon 60 ED. And we just got to keep taking those shots, and so it's been a good night. It's a shame I couldn't do any narrowband on our trusty triplet TS telescope service, but it just shows you the advantages of a standalone system, what we got there, right, through our refractor from the ST102. Right, had glitches there, but again, you're going to get glitches no matter what systems you use. Alright, so apart from that, you just got to test your equipment, make sure it's all working properly, and end of the day, it's all about enjoying the fun of astronomy. So then, guys and girls, I had to do a Meridian flip, and as I'll say, the target is now on the southern part of the sky, and I've just locked. It's weird, our sky does change, and I've already locked onto a star. So Synguider, you know, it's very temperamental when you've got cloud haze. Sky conditions and seeing really does affect this handy tool, NexGuide. So I've locked onto a star. I'm now going to just minimize it so you can see the display. I'm now going to select guide, okay, and we're going to autocal as usual. Now, I don't know if this is actually on our target, but I must admit the Standalone has been quite good, really. It does have its glitches, but the biggest glitch, if you sort it out, is the focus. As soon as you get the stars to focus, this Standalone guider, it's pretty impressive. So it's going through its calibration, and it doesn't take long. So it's going through its deck play now. So I've noticed with this, it's like you've got to balance the noise on a certain amount of exposure, and it also depends on the sky conditions as well. So it is temperamental, but when it does work, it's really good for what it is. And it's still going through its process. The skies are definitely clearing for a bit. I don't know how long for though. Yeah, this is taking a while a bit. But I mean, old technology will let it do its job. It's taking a moment, like. Don't know if it's the light that's affecting it or what, I don't know. Doing the northern position now. It's either a passing cloud or I can't see a cloud that's passed by. Alright, it's moving back now. So it must do another stage, I think, I don't know. There we go, we're guiding. Yeah, we're guiding. So now what we're going to do, hopefully after the Meridian flip, everyone hates this process. You know, nobody likes the Meridian flip. But where would I put my right, so we've got the hand controller. Just bear with me. So hopefully we've got the Veil Nebula again, but obviously it's going to be reorientated the other side. So hopefully we've got it in the picture. The skies have cleared up a bit, so we'll find out. I hope this has helped you guys and girls, you know, and everyone with this NexGuide. Maybe it shares some light that you can have some success with this standalone guiding system. Everything else, I must admit, I've still got 4 bars on the battery using the NexGuide. It just shows you use very little power, and it's really good. It really is good. Like, you do use a lot less power on there, and it is very, very impressive little standalone guider. You know, once it starts working, you know, it's brilliant for what it is. It's such a shame it gets bad reviews for a lot of people. And the biggest problem is though, as long as you, if you set it up properly, you know, it can work out for you. Alright, it's not 100% tickery-boo. But again, it's like with most auto guiding software. Even PhD guiding can glitch out. But the good thing about this standalone guider is once it starts working, you know, it really is quite impressive. And I mean, we're not too far off now for our after our Meridian flip. And it does. I notice with the zoom it's a bit difficult because sometimes that's it. Still got a few minutes left. Well, a minute left now. We're still guiding. Still. Okay, 1200 is quite high. But again, the skies are rubbish. So I'm not fortunate to have some amazing skies in certain parts of the world. But Baltimore 4 is okay for me. It's just we just got a lot of cloud haze here because I live by the sea. So sky conditions aren't ideal. So come on, we'll get to that. We got the Veil Nebula. Yes, we have. Yes, indeed. We have got the Veil Nebula, and that's good enough for me. So, with that on, the Meridian flip just shows you I'm really impressed with this standalone system. Alright, amazing piece of kit. I mean, you can't disagree. Alright, it does have its glitches, you do have a few problems with it, but I can't grumble. I really can't grumble with this system. Absolutely amazing kit. So I'm taking narrowband images through an achromat refractor and hopefully see what results we get at 3 minutes exposure time, and catching that nebula is very impressive.
Well, guys and girls and everyone, what do you reckon? Fantastic results every time, and I must admit, this standalone imaging rig has really amazed me. It was such a joy to use this equipment. Finally, I've got a portable imaging system that I can use without relying on software updates, relying on a camera that needs to be plugged into a computer. Even the guiding software is standalone. And I hope this video has helped you guys and girls and everyone. Yes, it's not quite standalone as such because the mount does have a computer, which is its handset, or you're using the SynScan app on your phone. That's the only thing I can't really get it standalone. But I do have a mount, which is the EQ Advanced mount, which is purely electric motor drives only. But the only problem with that system, it doesn't have a polar scope, and that's the key issue there. Plus the weight capacity is too much for that mount. So I had to use either an EQ5 or HEQ5 mount to hold this kind of weight, because you've got a lot of weight on the ST102. You've got the camera with the batteries. Everything on the top is all self-contained. So the batteries are mounted with this telescope, and then you've got the Synguider or NexGuide also attached with your big larger guide scope. Now I could use a smaller finder scope to reduce the weight, but NexGuide or Synguider, it does work with a smaller aperture of 50mm guide scope, which you can use, but I find that it's sort of hit and miss. I have done videos based around using a Synguider on a 50mm guide scope, but you're really pushing your luck. It does work, but it's sort of hit and miss. And if you get a slight hint of hazy cloud, like I did last night, I did have lots of hazy cloud. With a bigger aperture, you're going to get more stars to show up on the Synguider or NexGuide. So they always say to use an 80mm recommended or above. During that, the Synguider, when it was designed, it is old technology, and during that time we've got guide scopes and cameras much more sensitive than the NexGuide or Synguider. But they're not standalone, and this is the key fact of this video, is that sometimes using standalone systems is actually a lot more enjoyable. It actually makes astronomy much more enjoyable. And as you can see, I was set up literally minutes. I wasn't there, I was polar aligned, I've got the star alignment, and I've got guiding straight away. And as you saw the setup there, the Synguider NexGuide there's a lot of people don't like that system. And I must admit, it is hit and miss. And the key aspects of getting that to work properly is to get that focused. You need to get focused on a star. And where I did it was you literally use an eyepiece and focus first on a terrestrial object, and then take it one night to refocus on a star again. Ideally use a bright star like Vega or Antares or some really other bright stars out there. Focus on those stars first and get that Synguider focus. Once you achieved it, lock the screw, mark the draw tube. Right, once you mark that draw tube, you will not lose that focus. It will stay in that focus for a very, very long time. So that's the key thing about getting that to work, that system. The rest of the stuff, as I was showing you how quickly I was auto guiding, I basically just went, once I found the guide star, all I did was just lock it. Once I locked onto the star, then I just press auto cal to start the guiding, let it work its system out, and it worked perfectly. Within a minute, I was auto guiding the entire system without any issues. And this is the thing about the Synguider and NexGuide. It did get a lot of bad press. Some people find it very frustrating to use. And I totally agree. Yes, it is very frustrating to use. But once the system keeps going and it works, I did have hazy cloud. The system was still working. And this is the thing. If I was using the 50mm scope, then I would have lost those stars quite easily because of the limited aperture. So 70mm or 80mm or even more, you're not going to struggle to get any stars using that system. When I use that narrowband filter, the Optolon L Enhance filter, I was still capturing awesome detail of the Veil Nebula, the Eastern Veil. And don't get me wrong, using narrowband filters, you lose a lot of light. And because it blocks out a lot of light waves through the spectrum and only allows a certain amount of light to pass through. Which means even for me to capture 3 minutes exposure time, capturing the Eastern Veil is very impressive. And usually the only effect is because I'm using a focal reducer at the time, which speeds it up. But again, being able to track with this NexGuide, this is really impressive stuff. And as you can see, I got amazing detail of the veil. It really is an outstanding picture. And yes, some people have mixed reviews about the Autoguider, but believe me, that is an amazing piece of kit. And I don't care what anyone says, you can't guide with that. Yes, you can guide with that if you know what you're doing. That's exactly what I'm trying to say to you guys and girls and everyone. If you start practicing the equipment and keep practicing, never give up, utilize what you got, you can achieve amazing results with that piece of kit. And there is loads of these second hand, all right, dotting about. And to be honest with you, despite the older technology, I'm using a DSLR camera and an old 20 or 15-year-old standalone guider, that has worked quite well. And as you saw there, I had 3 rigs set up. Obviously, the first setup that I had with the obviously in the observatory shed, you know, I had my triplet taking narrowband, but because it was too late at night and I only had a 2 hours window, it was just a waste of time setting up that telescope, getting the software running to then get the camera set up, start the planner to take the different types of exposure times for each of the filters in a sequence. When I worked it out, I just wouldn't have enough data to collect or to satisfy what, the elephant's trunk, which is a real shame. And then the other setup with a 60 ED refractor, yes, using a DSLR camera, I was taking awesome pictures of, obviously I was taking awesome pictures of Andromeda galaxy, but I was so devastated that it did not save those images. And yes, the standalone guide, yes, the Autoguider from PhD, my netbook died, the battery died off. So I've lost guide in there. And with that, with those pictures, my memory card glitched out. I have no idea what happened. I think that because I was using the DSLR buddy at the time, because I was drawing too much power from a dew heater, and that's why my camera was not running right. So I reckon it was not saving the pictures onto my memory card. I was so devastated because I had some amazing shots of Andromeda galaxy. It really was a nice shot through there. But this system ran all the way through the night. Even NexGuide was able to guide through the hazy cloud, particularly the California Nebula, all the way through the night without no hassle. And that's saying something. Standalone systems like this, I think manufacturers need to start making setups like that. The good thing is, this battery here that I use for the guiding system. I haven't charged it. That lasts me all night and I've still got 4 bars. It's literally still fully charged. That's what I like about the Synguider, the NexGuide. It draws very little milliamps. We're talking 150 to 250 milliamps per hour. That is not a lot of power that's needed to power the Synguider or NexGuide. So the battery life on the system, even the guiding system, is standalone. With that external battery, that lithium battery, I've got power for quite a few nights. So I'm going to find a guide store, not a problem with that system. And it was such a joy to use. No computers to connect or cables. So that's the good thing about this system as well. Apart from the ST4 cable that's connected to the mount, and then you've got the power cable connected to my portable battery from the mount, obviously to the mount, they're the only 2 cables I've got to worry about. Everything else I've done to this system, the batteries, the cables are all onto the telescope itself. There's no cables hanging or dangling down. The only thing I haven't introduced was the dew heaters. That's the only things I haven't introduced in the system, but maybe I should have introduced them as well to some point. But I wanted to get a system quickly, get it set up and get sort of astro imaging straight away. So this system is pretty quick to set up. It really is. Now the only problem with this system is I did have some problems with the focuser. Because of the sheer weight on the Canon DSLR and the external battery, I think it was a bit too much weight added on the back, and that's included with the focal reducer as well added on. So it did slip. So I did have to adjust the focuser a little bit, and there's a tiny screw, and if you check out the image there, you'll see the tiny screw that I just had to just tighten up slightly. After that slight tweak, it had enough friction and it hasn't slipped. So you do have to do some adjustments. So it's a bit too much weight for the focuser. So I might have to put the battery elsewhere. So I could probably put the battery on the dovetail, for example. Maybe that would have been better. I'm actually quite amazed at that setup alone, and it does get a lot of bad press. A lot of people do not like the Synguider or the NexGuide. Don't get me wrong, you cannot beat a proper dedicated guide camera and PhD guiding. I mean that system is absolutely flawless. But the Synguider NexGuide, yes, it's old technology. But why not use the old technology? It's still good. If you know what you're doing and you get it set properly, sort out the focus is the one big thing how this system works. If you get that properly focused, the system can work really well for you. And I did get some amazing images through there. So that concludes my video. If you like what you saw in this video, please hit a like button. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe onto this channel. And don't forget to share this video out. Again, someone else probably might be in the same boat as me that's wanting a system where we don't want to completely rely on computers to run absolutely everything. So maybe this video might help them out. Also, don't forget to hit the notifications bell. By hitting that bell will keep you notified for any new videos that I publish out very, very soon. So to that on, thanks again, thanks for watching, and I wish you all clear skies.